Hello and welcome. I am Raziel, and so I want to talk about another. Well, it's a mental health issue, but but not really. It's hobby burnout. This is something I see come up quite often on social media, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I wish to address it. And to truly address something like hobby burnout, you have to address the cause before you address the problem. And I will be saying some things that I actually think will help you guys if you do suffer from hobby burnout. But I do have to say things that you might not quite like. It's just unfortunate because I think, like I said, you address the problem, you can address the cause. To address the problem, you have to address the cause, I should say. And now, the cause, in what I've seen over a couple of months, is piles of shame and fields of grey. If you know what I mean, you know you have this big pile of models still in their boxes, unbuilt, unpainted, or you have full armies, full, and they're all grey, and therein lies your problem. Therein lies your problem, I should say. Right. So the thing is, if you have a pile of shame, I'm not going to use a pile of opportunity. It's a pile of shame, okay? There is negative connotations to it, and it will and does affect your mental health when it comes to doing the hobby. And if you're not enjoying the hobby, which can provide a lot of mental health well-being and actually help you, it's a very positive hobby to get into. If you suffer from things like anxiety, depression, anything like that, it's really good for you. But you have to enjoy the hobby. So if you're suffering from hobby burnout, the benefits the benefits that it was giving you prior to this will no longer be what you'll be getting from it. You will be more stressful. You'll probably end up getting more anxious, more depressed. It will have a negative on yourself, which is a shame, because like I said, it is a good hobby, and I'm not meant a mental health nurse or a psychiatrist or a psychologist that has ever said don't do Warhammer. They often promote model making as a hobby to help you. And this is even before the research was done, by the way. However, the whole reason I'm doing this channel now is because of a mental health nurse actually advised me to do it to help me get over a stutter, which is a nervous tic, which I have, and, talk about something I enjoy. Anyway, so, pile of shames and fields of grey will end up causing you something called choice fatigue or choice exhaustion. This is a really weird phenomenon because your mind gets exhausted by too much choice. It's like if you have a big load of video games or a load of books that you haven't read or a lot of models that you haven't painted, just choosing the next one to do is going to exhaust you. It's going to be like you see this, your big pile of shame there. There's all these models, and you're like, well, I've got to build something and paint something from here, and you're like, but which one? And you look and you go, well, I want to paint these, and I want to paint these, and I want to paint these. But by the end of it, you just get so mentally exhausted by choosing which one. You burn yourself out just by looking at that pile of shame. Same with just Field of Grey. You look at this big army, which is not painted, but all built. And now, this is one I can be quite guilty of myself, because building is my favourite part of the hobby. I love building models. That's my favourite part. Painting can be so-so, but building is my favourite part. So yeah, I can be kind of guilty of having big fields of grey. I've actually gone through so much lately. I've painted my 405th Company of Imperial Fist for Horus Heresy, and I'm saying 405th because they became the Crimson Fist, so it's the Crimson Fist, Horus Heresy Crimson Fist army. My Sister Battle, my Imperial Guard, my Knights. I've also painted an entire faction of Union for Wild West Exodus, and I've almost completed my Enlightened faction. I just got 7 models the other day, which I'm going to be painting this week, and I got 1 more model for my Warrior Nations to paint. So there you go. So my actual shelves no longer are full of grey, and made it kind of hard for me to choose something to paint, because I wanted to paint them all, and it exhausted me mentally to do that. Now these are the steps I took. Now, I don't have a pile of unbuilt models. I have 1 unbuilt model in its box because it was free, and I don't really have a need for it. It's just going to be stuck in the box. I don't want it. I don't need it. It's just going to be stuck in the box and it's hidden away. Now, first steps. If you have a pile of shame, which is considerably big, take that pile of shame, grab the first 3 boxes, put them on your table where you do your modelling, or wherever you do your modelling, put them there. Then take all the other boxes and hide them from yourself. Okay? Out of sight, out of mind. Once you finish the boxes on your table, you get out the next box, the next 3 boxes, put them on your table and put them away. And you do that until your pile of shame is gone. You'll find your pile of shame will decrease very quickly with this method, because you've decreased how much you've got to choose, and because you've got an option of 3. You say, well, I want to paint this one, and it becomes a lot easier for you. The next thing, if you're starting to feel this way, look at the models you've painted and built, the ones you've got displayed. This is what I do when I kind of do look at my outer army, which is the mostly grey army at the moment. It's about 50% done. And I'll look at it and I'll go, oh, what do I want to paint? But then I'll look at something like my Night Army or my Enlightened Army and go, oh, I've painted these and I feel really good about painting these. So I'm going to just grab something, just anything from that field of grey, and I'll just paint that. And it doesn't matter what you grab. That's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter what you grab. Just grab something and paint it. But look at what you've accomplished. Look at what you've built and what you've painted already. It could be good, it could be bad, but you've done it. You've finished it. And you can give yourself that affirmation that you can still do this. And you can still enjoy the hobby because you can see what you've already achieved and what you've accomplished already. And it's great for your mind just to see what you have done. It's fantastic. I always say one of the best parts of this hobby is seeing it go from sprue to fully built and painted and on your shelf. Playing with it is great. You know, playing model games are great. But to me, that is the most best bit, is just seeing it go from when it was on the sprue and then finally having the finished model in your hand. Another thing is, try and stay off social media groups and pages of your hobby. I'm not saying don't go on them altogether, just kind of dial it back a bit, because it can be disheartening to yourself if you are going through this slump and you don't know what to do next. You have this, like, you don't know what to build or paint next. You have this big pile of shame or this big field of grey, and then you go onto like the Mantic page or the Wild West Exodus group, and then you see all these lovely painted models, and they are lovely painted, people showing off, and it can be disheartening, because then you're going to start comparing what you've accomplished to them. You go, well, I'm not that good. It doesn't matter if you are a good painter. It does not matter. What matters is you enjoying the hobby, you doing it your way. I'm not the greatest painter at all. Like, my painting is really, really bad, and I've been doing it for 30 years. Yeah, so 30 years of practice, and my painting still sucks. But I don't do it for the approval of other people. I do it for myself. This is my hobby, and this is how I'm going to do it. Don't go out and buy new models while you're facing this slump. You might be thinking, oh great, I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy a new model. Yes, buying models and going shopping does provide a dopamine hit. But when you've actually bought those models and you put it on your pile of shame, you're just making your own problem worse. I know it sounds harsh and horrible, but it does. And I hear a lot of arguments, well, these are models I wanted to do, so why are you building more? Well, these are projects I've got planned, why are you building more? Because I want to plan more projects. You're planning projects before you've got projects finished. And you're just making your own slump worse by doing this. Now, just to verify something, I'm not saying everyone with a pile of shame or a field of grey is suffering from a hobby slump. Or they do suffer from a hobby slump, okay? Or a hobby burnout, whatever you want to call it. Some don't. But those who I have spoken to and messaged and, you know, I've commented, like, I will say, they'll go, oh, I'm suffering from hobby burnout. My first question is, do you have a pile of shame? And they go, yes. And that's your problem right there. And I give them the same advice. I think, like, hide a lot of your pile of shame. Make sure you only have a few that you can see. Don't add to the pile of shame. Don't add to your field of grey. The more you add to it, you're basically giving yourself more choice. So your choice exhaustion is going to be a little bit quicker. And you're soon going to become so disheartened with the hobby that you're going to not be able to do it at all, because you just made it worse and worse and worse. And that's basically it. So if you do suffer from hobby burnout, oh, one last thing. If you are going to go out and buy new models, buy a single box of something you would never build and collect. something you would never touch. So for me, it would be the Necrons. Or I'm actually trying to think of a Wild West Exodus faction I don't like. They're all great. Probably my hardest part of actually choosing a faction. I'm going to say the Hex. Okay, the Hex is the one I haven't really painted or built yet. Okay, go out, buy a single model or small box, because it will show off in your pile of shame. It'll be there highlighted, making the point to choose it so much easier. And once you've done that and you've started painting and building it again, you're going to get your spirits up. You're going to feel better about yourself because you've done this. And then you can go back and go, oh, I'm just going to grab the top one and just go ahead and paint and finish that. You're not going to worry too much about whatever project you are doing, but it will help you in the end. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I like a good discussion, so comments down below. I do like having a good discussion here. And if you wish to save money on your miniatures, even though I just kind of suggested you shouldn't buy more miniatures, but this is a business, so I do need to make money. There is Wayland Games for up to free delivery after £20. And my God, I've got to give them a massive thumbs up on this one. I ordered a product on Friday and they didn't ship it out until Saturday, which is a shame because I ordered 24-hour delivery. But they redeemed themselves by delivering it on a Sunday. It came on a Sunday. I was going to complain on Monday, say, look, this should have come on Saturday, but it came on the Sunday. So big ups to actually pushing it to get released, to get it based on a Sunday. To have a Sunday delivery was fantastic. So I can't discredit Wayland Games at all for that. That was absolutely fantastic. Anyway, there's Forbidden Planet of comics, DVDs, mangas, etc., 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 all that cool stuff. There's my comics. If you want to see Little Red Riding Hood, go ham on Cyborg Werewolves and Cthulhu Monsters. And there is my merchandise, cups, t-shirts, DVDs, cups, t-shirts, and, all the usual merchandise, stickers, etc., notebooks. All the artwork's done by me, not by anyone else. And assuming the comic gets all my artwork and my writing. Is Skyforge. Always go and give that guy a click. He's a good friend of mine. And finally, Patreon. I have to mention it again. Business stuff. Bye.